Hey, what's up everyone? I'm sure you've already heard about this, and if you haven't already, I'm going to share a little bit about it in this video. So, if you are aware, this company last year in August of 2017 made very big headlines, and it was all over various news sources and all over the internet regarding microchipping human beings. So they microchipped their employees. They gave them the option to receive this microchip to start up their phones, their devices, their computers, log into their devices, use the vending machine, start their vehicles, open the doors, and made it sound as this huge convenience, basically. And so this firm, this company that is ahead of making software for vending machines, has gone a step further and has put new information out that they plan to innovate for the future to Washington Post and various other news sources. So this firm already microchips its employees. So the article states in the title, "Could your ailing relative be next?" And of course, I'm sure you're well aware that many of the employees, they place the microchip in between their thumb and their pointing finger. So it's placed right in there, smaller than a grain of rice. One person has had it removed out of the entire, they bragged that out of around 100 people, one person had it removed. So not all of their employees wanted to do it. Some feared evil or the devil. Some feared privacy concerns, which all of those are plausible and understandable in many of the individuals there. So a TV reporter, as you've seen, he got a microchip embedded in the picture I showed you above in August 2017. Now, I personally do believe this to be heading in a sinister direction, and a direction of prophetic proportions, particularly biblical prophecy. But I do believe that is a highly likely, plausible possibility. And not only that, if you're not looking at it in that particular standpoint, the technology that this company firm has developed now has GPS tracking capabilities. See, the microchips that they currently place, they claim can only be tracked when scanned by a nearby device, up to at least 12 inches or so away, or so they claim. I still don't know if I believe that or not. But they claim it can only be used by NFC technology with the RFID implementation inside it. The RFID, the radio frequency identification, can only be read and receive information from near-field communication enabled devices. So they claim it can only do that up to a foot away or so. But I don't know if I believe. I think you can likely be used GPS tracking. They can use to track you anywhere. They already do with the smartphones. So I mean, and similar chip technology is in our mobile devices. So I'll go ahead and read the rest of this article here. Regardless of the standpoint you're looking at this in, though, or the particular perspective you're looking at this from, you should see the concern, really. But I'm looking at it in a spiritual, prophetic standpoint as well, most majorly, really. So I'm going to go ahead and read part of this article. The technology company 3 Square Market made headlines last year for implementing microchips in the arms of nearly 100 of its employees. The chips were initially little more than an innovative novelty, but now the Wisconsin-based company, which designs software for vending machines, as I mentioned earlier in this video, has a more ambitious plan, according to Chief Executive Todd Westby. During an appearance on CNBC, when they were talking about new upcoming technology in the world of business and the world of technological advancements, Westby basically said that they're working on a more sophisticated microchip right now. They're actually working on this technology currently. It's in development. That is powered by human body heat. A long time ago when I was younger, I actually came up with an idea of something that was like, not as dark necessarily, but something that it was something that could help like track the temperature of the body and cool you off when the particular the neurons and the particular chemicals that reacted to cause your temperature to heat up in the body. I came up with an idea when I was very, very little, a child, to say something that could create the effect of cooling on the cells in the body that would cause you to cool down. Reverse whatever causes you to heat up and causes you to control the thermal temperature of the body. Basically, thermal regulation, temperature regulation within the body. That was my idea as a child, but it didn't require this microchip type of technology. It was another, I forgot, but it was some kind of an idea as a child. I wasn't really putting this whole thing into perspective then. I was thinking more of like some kind of a temperature regulation in the body to help cool you down when you were hot or had a fever, but that's what I was thinking as a child. But moving on to this, there's a more sinister plan behind this. They made it sound so awesome that they could do everything with a swipe of their arm. The chips were initially a little more than innovative novelty, but now they've worked on this sophisticated microchip that's powered by the human body heat. And it includes GPS, global positioning system tracking capabilities, and voice activation. It has voice recognition and voice activation in this device, in this microchip. Now, some last time they feared hackers and the devil. Others got microchip when they implemented this at this facility. Each of these things cost like $300, which technically they should be free then if it's so important. But anyway, moving on. Microchips with GPS tracking may strike some, including myself, as the first step toward handing out our autonomy, our self-thinking, and our own autonomy, basically, over to the Skynet-like government overlords. And three square market officials acknowledge that the chips will offer a convenient way to track people. But then they added, especially those suffering from Alzheimer's and dementia. They're saying, oh, we can help the elderly people, basically. That's what they're trying to state. That's why they were saying, is your sick or elderly person next to be microchipped? I'm sure that they target children right now. And now they're trying to target elderly people as well, make you, and kind of tug on the heartstrings and tug on your heart a little and emotions and say, oh, your elderly people and children need it for tracking your children because something might happen to them, or our children are vulnerable, elderly people are vulnerable, things can happen. Let's make it sound really good and something we need as a necessity, like they did with phones and the internet in general. But moving on to this, with this article, Patrick McMullen, the president of the three square market, the technology business, this chip technology business, he told CNBC the goal is a worthy cause, and it's not only GPS, but it's not only voice recognition and voice activation. It's working on monitoring your vital signs. So they're claiming it could be used for blood pressure monitoring and heart issue monitoring, seizure monitoring, Alzheimer's and dementia monitoring, and medical issues within the body, temperature, fever monitoring, and medical issues, monitoring heart problems or diabetes and sugar levels and blood pressure levels and all of this stuff, making it sound really good. Basically monitoring all your vital signs. And there are different medications and different medical solutions obviously medical institutions are looking into that and wanting that. He said, it's going to tell my or your doctor's office that, oh, I have an issue, and it sends it in immediately. Which they have devices like that now that you could press the button, life alert, things like that. So, I mean, Anyway, proponents of medical microchips point out that the devices could contain someone's entire medical history, their entire information, and the Real ID program has started, by the way. The Real ID, as a few YouTubers have mentioned, and they claim that you have to have it by October 1st, 2020, but I don't know if that's actually official. The documents were in 2005 and 2014, and reinstated again and mentioned this year that in 2 years, by October of 2020, we'd have to have it. I don't know, where your face is recognized not just on the ID, but you have to have all of your information put in this international ID system worldwide. This worldwide system, UN, and the United Nations mentioned it, and now it's mentioned by the United States government under our medical and country's documentation, stating that everyone will have to be in this Real ID program that puts you in this worldwide system where you couldn't enter a building, any kind of government building, without being in there and having your face recognized. Biometrics technology, facial recognition, and all that stuff, which is technically already there now with the IDs, but they call it the Real ID program. You can look that up and see the various documentation on that. That'll probably move over to this afterwards, but where you're tracked everywhere and heading toward the possible system of the mark of the beast. But moving back to this article, if a patient were unconscious, they claimed, or he suffered from memory loss, those records will immediately be given, and they won't have to speak and share their information verbally. It'll just be digitally there and readily available through this chip. Critics say that these practices raise serious privacy concerns. Now, think about hacking. That's where the privacy concerns come in by many individuals as well. When considering who would be responsible for this monumentous mountains of personal data that these microchips are capable of producing about an individual's movements, their behaviors, their health, their conditions, their entire information, their location, all of this being tracked and monitored and susceptible to hacking is an issue. So, I mean, they told CNBC that 92 out of 196 of their employees actually accepted chips. Only one person has had the device removed, but that's what they bragged. So what we've really done, this company has done, they said we made it acceptable, and we brought it to the forefront of people who are now talking about it, and they're looking to the benefits that it can do for a person. Now, that's hogwash there. They're just trying to push it, basically. They're trying to make it sound really good. So, as the Washington Post stated, they noted this last year. Microchips aren't exactly new. That's obvious. They've been used to tag pets, livestock, and things like that. They've tracked your pets and your livestock for many years with them. And they track deliveries with microchips. UPS, FedEx, the Postal Service, the airplanes and everything, they obviously use microchips to track many of their packages. Even smaller than what you can see sometimes. This biometric technology can be implemented that way as well. Maybe we have it, we don't even know it, through smart dust. You can look up smart dust, and I've dealt with that myself. I've had to remove a few, and I've seen many of them on me. It was like rampant for a while. I've dealt with smart dust personally, believe me. But Biohacks, a Sweden company, they've implemented this microchip in several thousand customers. Over in Europe, they've actually mandatorily mandated it in several places. It allows them to ride trains without using tickets and turn on the lights in their apartments and access a gym. Well, I can already turn one of the smart lights on in the kitchen and a couple of lights on with Google. Just say, okay, Google, and just either use the tablet or ask Google to turn the lights on with a speaker or something. I mean, you don't have to have the microchip inside you to do that. But anyway, allow them to ride trains without using tickets, turn on their lights in their apartments or homes, and access to the gym. And the company has partnered with these gyms to allow them access into them at any time of day or night in order to just use that chip to get in. Well, the company claims that the microchips can be not only used to enhance the systems that are completely under your control, but they claim it's completely under your control only. The microchips have been more widely discussed since the Times Square market began the radio frequency identification tags, which cost about $300 between employees. Index fingers and thumb is where it's placed, between the index finger and the thumb. So Noelle Chesley, who's 49 years old, she's associate professor of the sociology sociology at the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, told the United States USA Today company that she believes that microchipped humans are inevitability. And she's 49 years old, and she said that she believes not only is it an inevitability in humans, but not for several decades, So a few tens of years from now, within our lifetime, if you're my age, within our lifetime. I'm 24 years old now, so within my lifetime they act like it'll be. Some experts predict it will take a long time for the stigma associated with the practice to wear off. But they stated it will happen to everybody. She told USA Today, not this year, not in 2018, maybe not of my generation, but certainly that of my kids, so that of our children, of her children. She said her children. She's 49, so she's talking people of my generation that this will happen to. She said it will happen. But there are several people, that, including myself, that are leery of this. They don't agree with this, and they think it's definitely wrong. And I have a fascination for technology and things, but I don't want it inside me. Like when they decided to move the microchip technology into, instead of using the stripe on the magnetic strip on the bank cards, the debit cards, I was leery of that at first, but then I was like, well, it's on the card. I was thinking, as long as it's not inside me or on me, I'm okay. That's as far as it goes. And everyone was like, yeah, I agree with you completely. And that microchip on that bank card, even the prepaid debit cards now require it. They require it. That, and sometimes a PIN number. Rarely a signature, but sometimes you just put it in there and take the card out, and that's it. But very rarely. That microchip holds all your information. That's it. That one part of the card's all that matters. And it creates a unique identification code each and every time you put it in there. And then the PIN pad sends information to the bank. Then they send another code, and each code every single time is generated a brand new code. Whereas before it was done differently with a magnetic stripe. It was the same one every time. Well, that smart chip, the microchip inside the new debit cards, it creates a new, supposedly it's safer because it creates a new code each and every time that you place it in the PIN pad. You place it in the machine, the reader, and it sends out a new code. It reads your card's new code that it generates, and then it sends a new code to the bank. They send a new one back immediately, and those two codes are read by each other, and if they come back matching with an approval code and they match, then the process is over in like 1 to 2 seconds, sometimes 10 to 15 seconds. That's the way that works. But once it starts getting to the point where it's on your body or inside you, that's where I draw the line. I mean, I don't feel comfortable nor feel safe with something like that, and I'm sure you all don't either. Plus, spiritually, prophetically, I feel the same exact way. That it's leading toward what's called the mark of the beast. And I believe that's what it was talking about a long time ago. I don't know if this is the exact thing, because some people are putting their left hand. And so, I believe it is leading toward the implementation of that. Everyone in that system. Because we're already all in the system. And it's rapidly developing. And it's been rapidly developing, but it's happening even quicker in this generation. But yeah, that's just a little bit of information. Possibility of microchip requirements coming very soon. And Mark of the Beast, how it could be prophetic, likely is prophetic, dark, evil, sinister agenda. And they try to make it sound cool. There's so much information out there on this, but I just wanted to share my 2 cents on it. I would rather it, once it goes on my body or in my body, no matter which hand it's on, or no matter where it's at, if it's on my body or in my body, that's where I would draw the line, and I don't want it. The crazy sad thing is, when they tell you that you're required to, or you can't live, that's the sad thing. But yeah, they said it's within this generation for sure. So I'll keep you up to date on this if there's a new updated article. Hope I didn't go on too long. Peace and much love. God bless everyone. I just wanted to share this. This is some prophecy news update, the microchip information update. So, peace. Bye. You can find this online for yourself, and I'll leave a link below to this article. Peace. Bye.